I'm in the process of making chessboards for my 5th and 6th grade students at Clear Spring School. These will be delivered to them as kits that they will assemble themselves. And if you think of a chessboard, it involves 64 small tiles, dark and light. And we're using walnut and maple. And when I'm making lots and lots of these for lots of chessboards, I have to have a technique that allows me to do it very easily, accurately, and to give them good results. So what I've done is I've milled walnut and maple down so it's uniform. They're all the pieces are uniform in width this way and uniform in thickness. Now to do that I use a drum sander to get everything as accurate as I could. And then I use a sled on the table saw after these pieces have been securely taped together to cut my tiles. And so this allows me to cut a whole bunch at once. One of the advantages is that each piece as it's being cut eliminates tear out on the back side because there's a piece against it that holds everything secure. So these will give me very accurate squares. So with everything taped together, I can just start cutting. I've carefully adjusted the space in here to form a perfect square. And so one of the things you notice about the sled and why it's such a secure safety device is that if the piece has enough mass, it will just sit there as it's withdrawn from the cut. You can see that in a very short time you can have plenty of small pieces for making your chessboard. Leave them in a bundle though until they've been distributed to your students. It'll make it a lot easier to do your counting. So there you go. As I begin building the pattern, it helps to have a straight edge to put pressure against the parts and hold them tight together. And I can tape them down. You can see I kind of laid out some of them in advance here to get them in the right position. I'm using little tiny pieces of tape to try to make sure that everything goes together. And I'll check this way and this way as well, just to make sure that everything gets in line perfect. So you can see gradually I'm getting there with the standard chessboard pattern. So after I put tape on the one side, I'll check and make sure that all of the edges can be brought up against the straight edge. One of the things I did to make sure that everything went together well and to avoid error was to make sure that the grain in all of these pieces ran the same direction. And then the next thing I'll do is I'll put a border of cherry around it. If I need to true up any edges, I can put a sanding block in the vise and move it along like so. Which will help me to avoid any gaps. Okay. So this shows the assembled checkerboard pattern. And so I've taped the cherry border strips on in order to make the this part relatively easy and accurate. I've cut these pieces at a miter to go along the outside, but I've left them all just a little bit long so there'll be some material to take off with the shooting board, which I'll demonstrate next. You can see that as I'm fitting these pieces in together, it's too long. It doesn't allow it to come all the way in tight. So I'm going to use a shooting board. You see it uses a plane and this angle piece. I'm going to hold that piece right there and just move the plane along. Trimming it down. I still have a ways to go. But this will maintain the integrity of the 45-degree angle. And now it fits.